Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the XPEL podcast here at NADA. I'm Steve Janice. I'm joined by Darren Strahl, who's the General Manager of Production for Shelby American, and Chris Hardy, who's the VP of North America for XPEL. Darren, welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show, Shelby American. I normally do the introductions, but Chris, I want to let you do this one. What do you
Be
think
happy to.
of who is Shelby American?
To me, genuinely,
Yeah.
probably the most iconic, if not the most iconic American brand that ever existed. And I say that carefully because I worked for Harley Davidson. I loved working for them. And I think that people would put that name up there with it. And I'd go, no, it's Shelby all day long.
I mean, there's a movie. There's plenty of movies.
There's a number of movies. Ford versus Shelby is a great one.
Yeah,
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari,
Yeah,
exactly.
Ford versus Shelby.
Yeah. That's the internal side. We don't
the new
talk.
one.
We don't
That's the
talk
new
about that. Darren, I guess you wouldn't argue too much with that introduction. The Shelby American.
No, yeah, that's 100% correct. And I know I've met Chris before, and yeah, he's a purist. He knows all about Shelby's.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, let's back up a little bit, Darren. First, let's get to know you for a moment before we dive into the product behind us and how XPEL and Shelby work together. Are you a car guy? I mean, that sounds like the most basic question. Let me ask a different one. When did you start? Was this a passion from when you were young?
Yeah, I think it started when I was first born. My mom and dad had a little Alpine, and so they used to put me in the back, which there was no back seat, in a little seat, and we'd go for a little sunset drive, and that's how they put me to sleep pretty much every night. So yeah, it was. I was born into the car, so yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
His wife does that drive with him now.
Gotcha. It just puts them to sleep. Some way to put you to sleep. But if I remember correctly, you also did some racing.
Yeah, I played around with go-karts and some SCCA racing, things like that. And I started out, working in restaurants, and then I ended up owning a few myself and going through and trying to figure out a way to support my car habit and things like that. So, one fine day, we were always building cars and having fun doing that thing. And I always had a hard time getting them shipped, which sounds funny, and the guy would say, oh, yeah, we're going to get it Tuesday. And 3 Tuesdays later, he says, yeah, we're still getting it Tuesday. I'm like, which Tuesday? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Got to help me out here. So I said, we're going to start our own transportation company. So we started out, bought a trailer, bought a truck, hauled the first car. And then somebody said, oh, you got a trailer? Hey, could you haul my car? I'm like, sure, we could do that for you. Turned it into a legitimate business, turned around a few years later, and it was like, we had 15 semi-tractor trailers hauling enclosed vehicles, and so growing up in Santa Barbara, chased a lot of athletes and entertainers and things like that. So, disposable income money people. So it was a good business, and I ended up moving it to Florida. And when we got there, took off even bigger, met a guy there that was in the kind of the automobile customization, and they ended up selling and partnering with DuPont Registry. So hauled a lot of things for DuPont in the beginning, and that it was really an incredible journey on that part of it.
Yep.
One fine day, I had a client come in, and they wanted us to haul 6 cars to shows, and was like, okay, what is that? And so I said, all right, well, you need to give me a list. Here, this is it. And we started working on things to get the logistics worked out and everything. And turns out it was a company at that time called World Class Driving.
Okay.
And so you could go out and drive the supercars on the open road. And we had instructors with us. And so we would go out and, exercise the cars freely.
Yep. Good way to put it.
I need to remember that term.
Yeah, the statute of limitations never runs out, right? So, there was some colorful Monday morning meetings because they all had GPS tracking in them, so you can only imagine. Never mind. But so we ended up getting that company wanted to keep hiring me. Hey, you did such a great job doing this. I said, well, I have my own company. And he goes, well, no, we want to hire you. So I was like, okay. Well, we ended up getting hired, and off we went. And that was 2004, I think, when we started that. So 2004, all the way through 2012, we moved the company here to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Get to Las Vegas, and we kind of dumbed it down a little bit for the tourist section. And, we'd go out in smaller drives, run around Lake Mead, up to Mount Charleston, through the Red Rock Canyon area, things like that. And we had a good time, and we came completely off the road the following year. And were pretty successful for the next couple of years. The owner at that time, we had switched some owners. I had actually survived like 5 different ownerships. And when we were here, I met a gentleman. He knocked on the door one day by the name of Mike Mile, and he had a company that he was doing window tint and PPF protection. And I said, well, we got all these cars, they're on the road. And he was looking at them. He goes, yeah, you really need this. I said, "Oh, okay. So we started doing the cars, his window tint and his PPF protection on the cars. And one thing led to another. And years later, we developed a new business called Speed Vegas.
Yep.
And Speed Vegas, of course, was a track-based oriented driving experience. And of course, cars needed PPF because they were always out there behind another car, close range sometimes, and needed the PPF on them. So at that time, I think that we opened that in 2015, or excuse me, we started building in 2015, opened in April of 16, and then Mike's shop had kind of starting, it was a transition and actually becoming an XPEL corporate store.
Yep.
And here we are with XPEL. So
right.
Yeah.
and I left.
That timeline makes sense.
Yeah, and I left in 22. I left Speed Vegas to join the Shelby American team as the general manager up there.
All right, so Chris, then, based on that story and how XPEL and Shelby American started working together, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to XPEL to work with Shelby American?
It's kind of like a kid's dream come true, to be honest with you. I mean, look, if you don't know the whole story about, literally the Cobra versus the Ferraris, then I don't know what rock you're under. And so when I heard about this, I was like, wait, the real Shelby, like Shelby American? I'm like, yeah, they want to do a program together. I'm like, wow, I need to see this for myself. So I flew out to Vegas, met Darren for the first time, and I don't know that I didn't have more squirrel moments in my entire life.
Yeah.
Because he's talking, he's trying to do the tour, and I'm like, just jaw dropped, staring at all this insane metal, and asking a billion questions too. To be honest with you, like, can you tell me the real story behind that one? Like that VIN, who had it? Has it hit the road? Was it? But yeah, I mean, obviously for them and to declare us by name, by brand name, look, it's no secret that we support a lot of iconic brands. But most of them don't use us by name. They're kind of brand agnostic. And I think that's changing a lot now. Obviously, we saw that. But to be fair, I think Shelby, we all say that that Rivian was the first one to declare us by name. I don't know if that's true. I think it might actually be Shelby that did it first by name.
Yeah.
And so again, like, we're the disruptors in the business. We love that. And to have a partnership like this, what more can I honestly say?
Yes. So for those who don't know, what products does XPEL offer with Shelby? Chris, how does that work?
So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, our intention is to be able to provide anything and everything their customer wants, right? Whether it's window film, we do their striping for them. We obviously offer paint protection film, ceramic coatings, things of that nature. There's more platforms in development too right now, so I don't know if I can fully speak to it, but we're in the midst of developing even more stuff. So maybe I'll say more to come on that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you know what XPEL's about, and obviously being partnered with Shelby is part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Darren, for those who don't know, how are Shelby's built? So you've got a facility in Las Vegas, I'm aware of. I think you have one in Detroit. We have a pretty badass version of a car right behind us here. It's got XPEL products on it. But maybe as head of production, how are Shelby's created today?
So the model that's here behind you, that is built on the Dark Horse platform. And so that car comes into us. It's a ordered vehicle from a dealership. Customers, we have a lot of people, this is probably a question a lot of people want to know, like, how do you buy the Shelby and how do you get there? So not every Ford dealership is a Shelby dealership. We have select dealerships in different markets that sell the Shelbys.
Okay.
So this car, the customer actually brings the car to us, in a sense, is the way that this one's done. The Super Snake, that vehicle is ordered in bulk. Basically, it's a pool car that comes from Ford that's directly shipped to us. So it comes in as a base GT Mustang. I say base, it's got all the frills, and it can have active exhaust and MagnaRide and all those kinds of things on it. But the vehicle comes directly to us, and then we go about changing it into the Shelby Super Snake.
Okay.
On the vehicle, the entire front clip comes off. We use carbon fiber fenders currently, aluminum hood. We have our own custom designed front fascia. The rear gets a duckbill on it. The Super Snake also carries a wing on the back of it, similar to what this car has. And it's amazing to watch the transformation. I think that was one thing when Chris came through on the tour and saw. It was like, I had no idea that all of this happens to the vehicle. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces and parts that go in and come off.
Yeah, yeah. Is that when XPEL products go in at that time?
Yeah, so the car is completely finished. It gets alignment done, goes on a road test, and then it goes and gets a car wash, gets all cleaned up and pretty, and then it goes over to our. We have a separate building where we do all of our PDI, and XPEL basically has a little mini shop in there where they do the window tinting and the striping of the vehicle.
Got it. So is that XPEL employees, Chris, who do that, or Shelby employees?
Yeah, expel employees.
XPEL employees.
Yeah.
And so on the Super Snake R that's behind us, so it's got XPEL window tint, it's got XPEL put striping on it, and that's all done with your shop. And then I feel like there's a little bit more in this car. Is that correct, Chris? It looks like
bit.
Maybe like a full body paint protection film package,
Okay.
ceramic coating, rims, the calipers, the whole 9 yards. The interior, the dash screen has been protected as well with some film. So yeah, anything and everything that we could do. As a matter of fact, we even did the brand new windshield film on it as well.
Got it. And where was all that work done?
So here in Vegas, Mike Mail's old shop, which is now a corporate store, is where we did the installation.
Got it.
Yeah.
And could a customer order all of that if they wanted to? Everything that Chris just mentioned?
Yeah, that's some of the programs that we're working on right now to put in place.
Okay. Getting
Yeah.
ahead of ourselves.
So
Yes.
look, think about it like the Tesla programmer.
Yep.
Something like that, very similar is in development.
Okay. We'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. Something
Yeah.
else to come. Okay. And Shelby has other vehicles other than the Super Snake R that's behind us. How the GT350 or 500? How do those come together?
So, well, currently there isn't a GT500. We do a program on the GT500. What we're still doing on those, we have a few more of the Code Reds left to be built.
Okay.
That was a partnership that we did with Fat House Performance up in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So they build a twin turbocharged motor that goes into this beast of a GT500 platform, and it becomes a 8.5 second quarter-mile car.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You saw one that was sitting in the shop when
Yeah.
Chris came by.
Yeah.
And then we do up in Detroit, we have a facility that's building the GT350
Okay.
up there. And then we have another shop a little bit further north of them that's building the GT350Rs.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got little plants everywhere. And
Yeah.
then I know that we kind of talked about this before, and I asked, and what I can let you know is that the new 2026 Shelby, it's an all new, redesigned, revamped vehicle that will.
Are you talking about the pickup truck?
The pickup truck.
Oh,
The
okay.
Shelby trucks.
Yep.
Yep. The first platform will be the F250 that will probably be towards the end of spring.
Okay. All right. So there's a
Wow.
lot to come.
Wow, look at
Yes.
that.
Yes. A lot to
Sneak
come.
peek on the XPEL podcast.
Exactly. So, Darren, why? This may sound obvious, but I don't think it is. Why is it important for Shelby customers to protect their vehicle with whether that's film or coatings or whatever it might be? Are many of these cars are they driven or do they be put in a garage somewhere?
Sure. Well, a little bit of both. I mean, we have a good cross section of customers, but they're all enthusiasts, whether they're going to a show or whether they're actually tracking the vehicle. I mean, this vehicle behind us, the SSR, it's created as a track vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So if it goes out on the track, you for sure want PPF protection on it, and especially what they put on it, the new windshield protection. I'm not sure what it's called yet because it's brand
It
new.
is actually comes with there's no fancy name, windshield protection.
Windshield protection, okay. WPF.
Yeah, WPF is exactly what we call it internally.
Yeah.
So they, and it's just different for different people, and they have, I guess the best way is, they're all enthusiasts and they have different outlooks on what they want to do with their cars. And we have customers that have 10 cars. We have some that just have one or two. And,
Sure.
and then I've also got some guys that have like 60 Shelbys.
Wow.
And they're all different from old to new. And they, it's just a great product. And we tell them, this is something that you want to do. This is a big investment, these cars. And basically, a lot of these guys come to us and, we're building their dream basically. Right. And it's something like Chris said, he's a lifetime, Shelby fanatic, we'll call it.
Yep.
Probably you could start your own club.
Yeah, I probably could. Probably could.
But they, it's just all of those things come together. And when you buy a car like this car, I think the MSRP on it's right around $2.25.
Okay.
And so that's a big investment.
Yeah.
And you want to protect it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would think so too.
yeah.
Chris, is it tricky for XPEL, or is it unique for XPEL to have to fulfill? Like, how do you fulfill the needs of Shelby, where they've got production in different facilities? You need to have a team in different places, different states. How does that all work, and how did that come together?
Well, we're here for them. So they let us know what they need and we make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's the partnership. I mean, and so even on the idea of a referral platform, as you know, we've got thousands of accounts across North America. Just like they very, very carefully select the dealers that can carry the Shelby name, we're very selective on who can have XPEL's name as well.
Yep.
And so they feel comfortable then in knowing that if there is a referral platform, we can get that vehicle out to anywhere in the United States or Canada and get it looked after and fully protected and be fully convinced that it's not going to be a poor, shoddy job where there's cut up paint or anything like that to worry about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unique. It's what makes XPEL unique.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I toured the facility, there was cars in there that were from the 60s. And, you know, the holy grail is to have an original. And by original, we mean original paint. Like, if there is such a thing as that value of that car is maybe priceless.
Yep.
And the only way that you can do that if you're driving the car at this point now, especially with everything on the road, is to protect it with paint protection film. That's a reality. So, I mean, if they had had this product back in the 60s,
Sure.
wow. Yeah.
Do either of you see many classic Shelbys being protected with paint protection film?
I've seen a few.
Yeah.
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 And it's funny, I think those are the guys that they have newer ones as well, you know, and so it's kind of trickled down through, and you know, they don't just own Shelbys, you know, so
Sure.
it may be a car that they bought, and, you know, you brought up Tesla, you know, they could have a Tesla where they were able to do this, and it's like, hey, I need to do this to these too. So,
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I mean, look, you know, the Bill Goldberg is a massive fan. He's got a Cobra with a NASCAR engine, but
Yeah.
I don't know, Bill Elliott NASCAR engine or something like that, something crazy in it. Look, did the whole entire vehicle, you know, and covered every single square inch of that Cobra body. That's not easy. I mean, it's a hard install, but the fact of the matter, it's got to be done.
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, like whether you buy a $20,000 car or a $225,000 car, there's some level of protection that's realistic for that vehicle. Even if it's just door cups, door edges, and a trunk ledge, still a lot of protection for the damage it might sustain. A lot of vehicles just do the front bumper, maybe the full hood. More than enough, you know? I'm not saying you have to do a full body install and spend $10,000, $12,000 to do it on this, but even spending $1,000 can get you a lot of film that takes care of a lot of the issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Darren, do you have any personal stories with either yours or a car you've seen in your history with paint protection film, where you've seen it protect something maybe surprising or unique?
yeah, I mean, when we were using it at Speed Vegas, it was amazing. You know, I mean, putting it on there, and that we had some probably horror stories left over from the world class driving days, where, you know, we'd have a car or something and got a little bump, bruise, and that kind of thing, and it had PPF on it, and everybody thought, oh, it's good. And, you know, you take it off, and you could have a PDR guy come, a paintless dent removal,
Yeah.
and the paint was fine, but it had a little, you know, crease in it. And actually, it was here in Vegas. We actually had a car in Miracle Mile, the big shopping mall over
Yeah.
there, and it was on display in there. And we had a little booth to promote the brand and what we were doing. And some gentleman the night before took a run out. It was parked out just outside the pool of the hotel there, and he literally ran out of the pool area and then tried to jump across the hood of the Ferrari. He almost made it, but his foot landed on, it was a F430, and his foot landed on the fender, and it just, but it had PPF on it, and they were able to get it out and no damage.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was impressive.
Do you have to disclose that when it's sold? What happened to this car?
No damage.
No damage. It was gone.
Man, that's a story I have not heard. I'm keeping that one. Let me tell you about this idiot in Vegas.
But yeah, that's I don't know what it is. We were also at a program one time in Harrah's in Atlantic City, and we had a Porsche GT2, which nicknamed the Widowmaker, which is why it was in the lobby of the hotel and not out on the road. But anyways, they same thing. Guy came in the front door and at a full sprint ran up the hood and across and over the car. And everybody just kind of stood and awed. And we're just like, oh my goodness, that's not a good thing.
No.
And yeah, security chased him down, and yeah. And again, no real damage.
We
just
don't
a-
recommend
Better
this at
stories
all.
than
Yeah.
I do
two
about
footprints. So
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
I guess it's not just protecting road debris. It can also hold
Yes. Yes.
hold off size 12 sneakers.
Yeah. That's a testimonial right there, Chris.
Listen, we need that in writing.
Right. Well, Darren, we've hinted at some future things. It sounds like there's things in the works. Not much we can talk about right now. But is there anything going on at Shelby American that you want to make sure we know of? Anything coming up that you want to talk about here?
So we have our annual bash. It's called the Shelby Bash, and it was originally it started out as Carol's birthday party.
Okay.
And then now it's moved. It's moved a couple of times, obviously, for some different things that happened in the world. But now it is going to be the end of April, and it runs into like I think the Saturdays, like May 1st, I think. So it's
Okay.
like that last weekend there. But that's an annual event, and it's for all Shelby owners. It's put on by Team Shelby, and what they do is they come out. We have a track day up at Spring Mountain.
Yep.
We have a poker run. We have a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
A couple of banquets. Lots of fun, and a majority of it's actually held at the facility at Shelby American.
Yep.
And the host hotel does a banquet on one of the nights as well. So. But that's coming up, and that's a big thing that goes on. And even if you don't have a Shelby, on the Sunday morning of that weekend, we have a huge Shelby show.
Okay.
And last year we even brought in outside vehicles that were not Shelbys,
Okay.
just for everybody to come and see and be able to look at some different cars, because the Shelby guys all look at Shelbys all the time.
Sure,
So they're
right.
like, "Can we have some different cars?" So I made a few phone calls, and we had everything. We had a Vera there and a couple Lamborghinis and some other
Gotcha.
different
I
stuff.
think
So
Chris might be able to help with
Yeah.
some vehicles.
So I
if
know
needed.
some people, but even Spring Mountain. I mean,
Yes.
that's where the Chevy Corvette driving school
Correct.
is as well, right?
Yep.
Yes.
They've got 01 and
Yeah.
01 LX,
Yeah.
things of that nature. And as you probably know already, we take care of that program also.
Yes. Yeah, all those cars are protected with XPEL PPF, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard a rumor that even some of the condos at
Yes.
Spring Mountain have XPEL window film on them.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was something that the gentleman who runs that platform had inquired about when we first started with them.
Yeah.
Because they built beautiful, I mean, I don't know if you call them condos. Not only that, as a matter of fact, the tower that they walk up and they have the track officials overseeing the entire track,
Yep.
that's also protected with solar film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And you said this was May 1st?
that's the weekend that it is.
That weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very
it's right
good.
before. It starts on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I
And,
think we'll
he's
know.
lending me this one.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he doesn't
Oh,
know
that's
that
so
yet.
nice.
I'm trying to get that on record as well.
We're gonna.
Just for the event.
I talked to a couple of people here. I know you got a couple of guys that are involved in some racing here. So I'm going to see if they got your license.
How many of these cars will be built, by the way?
So there's 7 prototypes, which this is one of those, and then there are 100 vehicles that have been sold this year. So the production is 100 for this year,
Got it.
and then next year we'll see what happens.
Okay. So is it built to order, basically? Like you'll build as many as orders
Correct.
come in? Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Chris, anything you want to add? This sounds like, the Shelby relationship's a dream come true for you.
Yeah,
but,
it really is.
Anything else from the XPEL standpoint?
No. Once
Yeah.
again, as you know, you can see it. It's just constant great partnerships.
Yeah.
And Shelby American.
Yeah.
Need to make. By the way, for those of you listeners that don't know this, I found something interesting out. If you see a Shelby America sign on the side of a car, it's a fake
Yeah.
because it's Shelby American.
Right.
But no, I mean, again, it's almost speechless to talk about this brand from here. So just the reverence.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, Darren, very much for being here.
Absolutely.
And
Pleasure.
sounds like Chris might be able to use this car soon.
Yeah. We'll see what can happen.